Welcome to Tiger Wolf. I'm Josh, and this is David.
Please be aware, this podcast contains strong language and spoilers. All right, so for today's shitty movie review,
We'll actually be doing two movies.
first one we're going to talk about is Bumblebee,
Bumbling Bee.
and the second will be Aquaman, or Waterboy, Part 2.
They're actually working on a Waterboy 2, from what I understand.
What? How? I don't...
With Adam Sandler? Yeah. I saw something
Could
about
that
it.
go anywhere else?
I think it's like him much older, and I don't know. I don't fucking care.
Whatever. Okay, so, Josh, how was Bumblebee?
I enjoyed the movie. It was not the movie I went to see. It was like an hour of Bumblebee learning how to be, and like a total of maybe 15 minutes in the beginning and the end of Bumblebee being Bumblebee, and also in the beginning was the best part of the movie.
Yes, it was.
Says the war for Cybertron.
I still stand by my statement. That should have been the entirety of the movie.
Design-wise, I think they did a much better job. Not saying that was bad before with the Transformers, but like it definitely seemed like a lot more
The more
thought
of
was
them
put into
on
it, and
screen.
also seeing the classic styles for them
Yeah.
was really nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, seeing a bunch of them on screen at once tends to be a bit more.
Well, it's not just that. It's not even
time-consuming.
just that, though. Like, just watching them transform in, like, any of the other movies, specifically not the first one,
Yeah.
it seemed like it was just spinning parts and then boom, they're a transformer, or boom, they're a car. It's not like
You could
things don't
actually
really seem to
watch-
line up well.
You could actually
that
watch,
well.
the doors shift and flunk back into place
Right.
on like B.
Like, well, yeah, and they did a lot of work with making sure Beast transformation worked, so even when he was doing, like, half transformation.
Yeah,
or
I did like those.
when his he had to fold his car door windows in and stuff like that. Like, they did a really good job of
making
piecing it together,
making
right?
it making it slightly more understandable.
Visually explaining it.
Yeah. But yeah, my favorite part was, like I said, the very beginning when they're on Cybertron, and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, Will Jerk, and there's RC, and there's Jazz. I think that one's Prowler. There's Cliff Jumper. It's just running through naming as many of them as I could.
As they died.
None of them died. Well, in the opening cinematic, a nameless one off to the side of Will Jerk got shot in the face.
Yeah, I think we saw more Decepticons go down, but they still had the upper hand.
Yeah, it was then almost all the ones that went down in the opening cinematic was Nameless Decepticon 86, Nameless Decepticon 22.
So my first kind of disappointment, which I think was yours a little bit too, was that the jet that Bumblebee fights as soon as getting to Earth is not Jetfire. I mean, not Jetfire, but Starscream.
He had the markings, but it wasn't.
It was a good fight.
It was an awesome fight, but
I mean, I say that, and I love seeing Bumblebee win fights, but he basically lost that fight until the very end, where he killed the guy.
Yeah.
I don't even know what his name was.
None of them were named.
Even the other two,
We didn't get names
that's
for any
true.
of them.
they were just nameless
They were
Decepticons.
nameless Decepticon 84, 122, and let's say 13.
That makes me interested in what Optimus's like code is then, because B is B127.
I think the only other one that I vaguely remember something like that for is, I want to say it was Ironhide, and it was like Alpha
Because doesn't he like introduce himself as that first
742 or something like that.
in the movie?
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, it was. They took, in my opinion, way too much time getting through the Bumblebee learning what humans are about stuff before when he didn't even have his memory.
Yeah.
Like, so he was just this scaredy bot.
A scared cat.
He basically was like, which is like, that's okay. I understand. He didn't have any of his memory, this, that, and the other. But like, we didn't need to go the whole movie with that. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I felt it was a little drawn out, but
Little. Because it basically was the whole movie, and then he got his memory back and kicked the shit out of the other two, the two Decepticons before the end of the movie. That's exactly how this movie ends. Don't get me wrong, the fight scene at the end was pretty decent, but then even then, half the time we spend not looking at what Bee's doing.
yeah, it's
I'm sorry, they should have named this movie Charlie and Bumblebee.
Charlie and the Bees.
No,
Well,
Charlie and the Bot Factory.
wow. But my usual gripe with he was a bug almost the entire movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes, I'm okay with this. And then they turned him into the fucking Camaro at the very end. And I'm like, why? Why? You've already retconned numerous parts of the original trilogy. Or
The original movie, the other part of the movies, basically.
Yeah.
Like everything about Bumblebee pretty much has been retconned, except for he turned into a Camaro.
Yeah,
and
so why not just leave him as a fucking bug?
Because you know why.
Yes, you explained it last night, and I agree with you, but it irritates me still.
Also, the new bug hadn't come out yet at that point in time.
Yeah, I know. But he's not going to go back to being a bug.
Well, it's not a bug, actually. It's a beetle.
Yeah, it's a beetle now. But
Or is the old one the beetle and the new one's the bug? I can't remember which is which.
Volkswagen Beetle was the old one, technically.
So the new ones are the bugs, then.
Yeah, we just called the old ones bugs.
No, I think those old ones were bugs, and they called them beetle when they came back because they're a little bit more elongated.
Yeah, they're
so they're more beetle looking
now
than just like whatever. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Like I understand your gripe with that. It was not necessary. The only reason being that the newer Transformer fans would know him as a Camaro.
The Camaro, yeah.
I mean, that's what I have sitting in my center console is a Camaro Bumblebee. I hope they come out with the bug one. My birthday's coming up. And
they have.
Well, I mean, the new based off the movie.
Yeah, they have.
I think I saw one.
Already. I think I saw one at work.
I'm not surprised.
A lot of one thing I like is side tangent about the toys. They've gone back to the older style. Like it's not the movie style bots.
I don't know what
as more frequently. Like Slag and the pterodactyl. I can never remember his name. They have a Rodimus Prime, the old school Rodimus Prime, out again, which is like that fucking tall.
So like a foot and a half?
Yeah, it's fucking huge.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they've gone back to the old Gen 1s and 2 style.
Another gripe I had with the movie, which is it's stupid and it's not important, but it's still an interesting inconsistency, is that she fixed Bumblebee as a car to drive again. But then you see almost immediately afterwards that he's clearly not made up of the same type of parts as a regular car because she goes underneath him and sees his face. Yeah. Which weird. But
that creeped you out.
It was creepy, man. It was creepy. But like, yeah, so like how did she fix what is clearly not going to be a combustion engine because he runs off of Energon?
Yeah. That's another one of the model inconsistencies.
It just didn't make sense to me. Like they tackled more about fixing Autobots in Last Night than in this really. And then also like his bumper just comes off, and all she does is put it back on, and I'm like, that's not bumper. The wheel well. The wheel well.
Yeah.
There's got to be something to hold it there.
Yeah.
It's just like when she takes off that chest piece and accidentally activates the Optimus
Message
hologram. She just removes it. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like attached.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like, I'm not saying necessarily that Bumblebee should have been full of bolts, but how the fuck does a robot stay together?
I think with the Transformers, it's, they've got like a standard skeleton, and then an
exoskeleton.
They
basically
have a standard skeleton, a coat, a coat layer, and then they have the shifting layer, which is the exoskeleton itself.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, you can lose bits of the shifting layer and still be okay.
Okay, but that's also their armor.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. It's their exoskeleton, basically.
Yeah.
Other weird inconsistency, in my opinion, is that the two rando Decepticons could have two vehicles scanned and change into either one at will.
Yeah, the triple changers.
I did notice that they had to change back to themselves to change to the other one, though.
Yeah.
They couldn't change from helicopter to car. It had to be helicopter to Decepticon to car.
Yeah. I did like the fact that it was after they scanned the jet and the helicopter, they had the extra parts on them when they were
when they were in
their bot
mode.
form.
They had like the blades for the helicopter or whatever.
Yeah.
They were also a lot bigger than B, so that might have had something to do with how much they could hold.
It really bugs me because I can't think of his name.
But like Optimus couldn't do that. Maybe he can and just doesn't, but I don't see why he wouldn't. Like, how much more badass would Optimus be
if he
wasn't just a truck with a rocket launcher trailer, but also could go boom, and he's like some sort of heavy armed helicopter or something like that too. You know what I mean?
He's suddenly a Harrier jet or C-130.
I don't think it'd be a carrier unless he's carrying payload.
I mean, he's got the trailer, so in theory, his trailer could become the exoskeleton for most.
Or just
of
a
the
giant
C-130.
cannon on the underside of the fucking helicopter.
That's true. But I mean, like in the original Gen 1s, Megatron doesn't turn into a tank. He turns into a fucking gun that Starscream uses.
Yeah, but that doesn't last. Like, he changes what he changes into. But he's also a huge fucking gun that Starscream uses. He's not just a gun. He's like an anti-air gun.
He's like a fucking pistol in the original series, and specifying the original series. He's like a fucking pistol.
I'm thinking of probably not the original series, just
You're
another one.
probably thinking of Galvatron when he becomes like the cannon.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I know, I don't get me wrong. I like the version of Megatron where he's a fucking tank.
Anyway, let's get into the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Me?
Really?
Is it me?
I started Bumblebee, sort of.
I mean, I did most of the complaining for Bumblebee, though.
Yes, you did. You normally do most of the complaining for the movies, though.
Aquaman who drinks like a fish.
Didn't.
Still gets drunk under the
table.
I can't do words.
His dad can still drink him under the table.
Thank you. We'll just do it that way. I really enjoyed this movie. Like, I enjoyed Bumblebee. I just had gripes with it. I don't think the pacing was right, yada, yada, yada. This, I think everything was on point except for the dialogue. And, like, in the beginning, some of the effects of them, the close-ups in the water, which I noticed later they did less of. When it was close-up on them in the water, it was a little jittery looking, but the hair effect was great. They did a fantastic job.
I like the fact that they, dealing with the visuals, they meant, Volko tells him, you have to go deeper to awaken your Atlantean instincts, and it shows him going down. His eyes change when him and her are in the sub. His eyes are they actually went through the effort and made his eyes the different.
Well, when he
shade
swims to,
so that he could, so he and us as the audience could see.
it also
the
does that
creatures.
when he swims to with her to the bubble ship,
Yeah.
the air bubble ship. When he swims there, it his eyes shift too.
Yeah, I like the fact that they kept that as a consistency.
That
They
he has
didn't
to
slip it up.
That he has to like do it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like the fact that that was a consistency that they didn't slip up on.
Okay, so my two favorite parts, which is hard to pick out of this movie because I really enjoyed it, are one, the complete like change in how they were doing the filming from when they jumped into the trench stuff. Like it turned into a horror movie for a little bit.
It was a little
And just the imagery of them diving with the flare was just great.
yeah.
It was the best way they could have done that. Because then you get a real scope of how fucked they are.
Yeah. How
Basically.
bad this could end up being.
Exactly. Because they were having trouble fighting off what are the trench people
The
called?
trench.
They're all just
They're
the trench.
all the trench.
Okay. So they were having trouble fighting off
another name-
individual trenchites. And
I think another name for them is I think they're also called the dredge. But I might be thinking of a different group in the
it
comics.
sounds like something from Namor's stuff. just like him in a group he had when he was Imperious Rex. But no, like just because it starts off with them fighting them off on the boat and not doing very well.
Yep.
And then they discover the flares work well because they're deep dwellers.
Yeah.
Because Aquaman's a lot smarter than he gives himself credit for. Because he calls himself, I think just before that, a blunt instrument.
Yeah.
And then he's
I'm a
like,
blunt
they're from the
instrument,
dark,
and I'm
they're
really
from the
good
deep
at it."
dark, right? Like,
I'm a blunt instrument and I'm really good at it.
he's not though. Like, to be perfectly honest, he can't take a hit that well compared to most of the other heroes we've seen for DC stuff.
For a very long time, the only people he was taking hits from were
Regular people.
regular people. So,
Well, I mean, to be fair, he only really started taking hits from what they give like us in this is that it seems like he doesn't really become a guy who does a lot of good. Like obviously he helped out small villages and stuff like that previously,
yeah.
but like he goes out of his way to help people after the Steppenwolf incident, as we'll call it.
Yeah.
And that's when the band came and played for them. And
Yeah. It was.
did I get to my point? I didn't get to the second one.
Oh, yeah. No.
The second one was they made his lamest power his biggest asset. I mean, they did it right, man.
Yeah, they did.
They had to have sat down in a meeting and went, all right, so he can talk to fish. What can we do with this to make it worth it? And everybody's like, make him talk to fish? And he's like, no. I mean, yes, but what else? Like, and it's like, oh, well, since everybody in this war that he's going to show up to at the end of the movie is going to either be
A fish.
or be
Or
riding
a fish.
some type of fish or shellfish
Sea creature.
or sea creature or
A kraken.
Cthulhu's mom.
A kraken.
That wasn't a kraken. Krakens are just
Giant
basically
squid.
giant squids.
I know.
This thing was Cthulhu's mom.
Again, that's just something I point out.
Actually, you know what it reminded
that
me
I
of?
really liked.
You know what it really reminded me of is the Sea Emperor, I believe it's called. Or
From what the fuck's it called? The game that the survival game where you're able to build sea bases and
Subnautica.
is that it?
Yes,
that is
Subnautica.
Okay.
It actually looked a lot like that because it had the tentacle things for what are basically its legs, had claws for its hands. I think the one in the Subnautica has like
Actual
3-fingered
digits.
hands, yeah. But still, like design wise, in a lot of ways, it was reminiscent of that. Which I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's just interesting to me.
But I mean, like I pointed out to you earlier in the film,
Mm-hmm.
When they kind of focus in on the snow globe that's on the table, there's an H.P. Lovecraft book underneath it.
Yeah, that's what it is. So the trench thing is very Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
And then after that, he goes and he doesn't even actually fight the what's it called, the Karathan.
Yeah, the Karathan.
He talks to it.
Yeah,
as the first
she's
person
confused.
since Alton to be able to talk to her.
Yeah, she's confused that he's talking.
Yeah, which also it being a female voice made me think of Subnautica too, because it's a female sea emperor.
Oh,
that you are rescuing her babies in Subnautica.
didn't know
this is
that.
a triple spoiler episode.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you have to go around and collect certain like algae and stuff like that to get the eggs to hatch so that they can leave.
Oh, okay.
And then she lets herself die. She's been alive this whole time to make sure her eggs will be able to hatch and
go.
So she's been waiting for somebody to help her.
Okay.
It's really, it was a really good end of that game too.
I really liked the fact that they, you brought up Injustice, which I agreed with, but I really liked the fact that they made his classic costume look
Oh yeah,
badass.
he looks like Alton looked like a badass
He
in
did.
it, and Atlan. Damn it, keep saying his name wrong. And then also Aquaman. Like that's the other weakest thing about Aquaman is his superpower name, his Superman name, his superhero name. That's it. Yeah, man. I really enjoyed it. It was neato.
I definitely enjoyed it much more than Bumblebee.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was, a lot of people I talked to before it came out were like, I don't know about this.
See, and that's why I was like actually legitimately hyped for Aquaman, because I was like, I feel like they're not going to do this wrong.
Like,
Because if they do, then it was going to kill DC.
Yeah, it was. I enjoy Jason Momoa as an actor, and I was hyped for when they announced he was going to be Aquaman because he played an Atlantean in Stargate Atlantis.
Yeah, so this isn't even his first time as an Atlantean.
Yeah, I thought that was just an interesting little side tangent. I was like, cool.
Dude, I absolutely loved it. If I had to put it on the scale with the other DC movies, it falls pretty much as the same as Wonder Woman. The only reason I liked Wonder Woman more is because I really liked it as a period piece too.
Yeah.
But it was truly a good epic. It was like a 2-hour movie, right?
2.5 almost.
Yeah.
2:20.
That's right.
2 hours, 23 minutes.
It was an action movie that's one of the reasons they did it right. Same thing with like Wonder Woman. That movie was like at least 2 hours.
Yeah, it was
like
about
that's what like that's what DC's been missing, is they're not being able to tell the story they need to, because up until now they've really been doing action movie length films, which is like an hour and a half.
hour and a half, give or take.
And yeah, 90 minutes may work for a kid's film or for most action movies, say Die Hard or whatever. But for something
it also
with
works
this
for
much
most of their animated movies.
Not even needed, but needed at the same time, lore. Like this whole movie was just
there
lore.
was stuff everywhere.
Literally everything. And like we were discussing, we're trying to figure out like a timetable for the history of how it fits in.
We were trying to, we went out of our way to try to find inconsistencies with this one, comparing it to like Justice League and Wonder Woman.
It's not that we were trying for the inconsistencies. We were looking for the consistencies between the movies. And it was actually there.
Yeah, which actually
the Atlanteans are mentioned and shown in Justice League from the first battle with Steppenwolf.
Yep.
And you can note there that they're on ships, which means it's before Atlantis sank. And
they show Atlan getting the cube.
Or
the mother box.
Well, hiding the cube.
Yeah.
Well, see, they hide the cube, it's underwater. So it happens like right around that time. It may be because of that war. Atlan was like, I need more power to be able to handle this kind of stuff. And that's why he was trying to empower
his trident.
Trident. Oh, and the trident I really like because it was just I like simple.
It was simple.
It was simple and was well done. They did a really good job of showing it emanating the power.
Yeah.
And it resonating with Aquaman when he first grabs it.
Yeah, something I thought was kind of funny is, Orem makes the comment about how, our mother's trident was a good trident, but it had flaws. And he breaks the trident in half. But when
Aquaman breaks his,
it shatters. And yeah, you can probably chalk that up as, well, the trident he had is the most powerful trident. Sure, but I think it's also a semblance of Arthur shattering Orm's view of the world.
Oh, yeah. Like, I liked the end because it wasn't just, and then the bad guys defeated and the good guys, it was...
You're still my brother.
It was Aquaman going, when you're ready to talk to me, please, let's talk.
Yeah.
That was a moment. You know what I mean? Like, it was clear that Orm was trying to do what he thought was best.
Yeah.
And becoming a tyrant because of it. And then his mom shows up and she's like, you fucked up. But, gentle mom way.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I knew
and
his
also
mom was going to be alive, but I half expected her to get killed before being able to go back to Arthur's dad.
Oh, no. I think they nailed it because it was because Orm blamed Arthur for their mother's death, as Arthur blamed Arthur for their mother's death as well. And in a way that's understandable. But then now he has, as a bookend to that, is Arthur brought his mother back. So now he's got to deal with all of that hate that he had for Arthur and probably the trench and other things in that he's got to kind of...
He's got to work through because...
he's got to understand that wasn't good, and now it's not even just not that, but also Arthur did something he couldn't do.
Yeah, Arthur did something he couldn't do.
Did a few things he couldn't do.
Yeah.
Like ride a Carathan.
Got the Carathan. Got the trident. Turned the tides of a battle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He has command of the trench. No one has command of the trench.
Also, the talking to animals thing, or the fish thing, I think that is why he could attune to the trident.
I think so. I think that was something Atlan had.
Right.
And I think it might be just
I don't think it's a bloodline thing, because the way they talk about it, nobody else has been able to talk to fish like that.
I think Arthur's the closest thing to
Atlan. Yeah.
Which means maybe Atlan was a half-breed himself.
Well, he was in the sense of he was not underwater Atlantean.
Yeah.
Was the king, so had all the, whatever bloodline traits go with that, and was also pretty much the first of the empowered to be underwater.
Yeah. So,
So I think it just had a lot to do with that. And the fact that his fucking trident was boss.
Yeah. It was definitely... there was so much about that movie that I enjoyed.
Oh, and so, yeah, back to the lore breakdown. There was also the statue of the king in Sicily that would have had to have been old enough for when Atlan disappeared with his trident to have made the riddle of using it.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder how old those statues must be, since the riddle thing used a device that was in the Sahara Desert from before the Sahara Desert was a desert.
Yeah. That part's a little convenient, but
it made it more interesting.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder though. Are Egyptians like Atlanteans in their difference from normal people? I don't know how to say this.
So there's this really old story dealing from Egypt in our world. Let me preface this, where Alexandria was attacked by men from the sea. And not they came in boats. Men came up out of the water and attacked the city of Alexandria.
Okay.
It's one of the
That's interesting.
old stories about that was passed down from Egypt.
Because unless it was just
what the
kingdom, but it wasn't just what the kingdoms were then, because there was also Greek.
Mhm.
The kingdom or whatever you want to call that.
They had it. They had the different kingdoms, which I thought was
Well, they
kind
said
of
there was-
interesting because
yeah, there was, what, 5?
fishermen's,
I like the fishermen. I like
they
that
were
they were.
philosophers.
I like that they were.
They were
basically,
very
They were
Greek.
Athens. They were Athens.
Yeah, they were Athens.
Yeah. No. And I liked that. I liked that when faced
deserter-
with Orn, the fishermen were like, "No, when we reveal ourselves, it's going to be to
teach.
help. Yeah, it's going to be to help humanity learn." And Orm's like, "No, you're going to kill them, or I'm going to kill you."
Yeah.
But yeah,
The deserters, as they were called, or the ones that went to the Sahara Desert,
Yeah.
they were builders and crafters and smiths, much like the Egyptians.
yeah, they're the ones that created the trident. So I'm like, I know we probably won't really get more unless we get an Aquaman 2 movie.
I can almost guarantee. I believe they already greenlit it before it hit theaters.
I honestly don't know what they could really do with that story, unless it's just now,
It literally
the
could just be
Ocean
Arthur-
Master at Aquaman versus whatever world dominating threat shows up. Because we
there's
know what's going to most
Black
likely
Manta.
be the next Justice League,
Justice League thing.
and that's going to be either
Darkseid,
or one of his people,
one of his other kids,
one of his other heralds. He's got to have another one.
But I mean, you've
Otherwise,
got,
Steppenwolf was lame.
But you've got Black Manta's still alive, which is
Well, yeah, but he's not like
One
world
of-
threat. He's just
not
an
world
Aquaman
threat.
hunter.
He's after Aquaman. But what could spark that is he finds out Aquaman's mom is still alive. Goes, kills his mom and dad.
And then Orm's going to go after
Going to
him.
go after him, but Orm may just be like it was another surface dweller, so he might reignite his hatred. for
Orm's the one that gave that dude everything.
yes, but
You know what?
He'll just
I hope
use it
he
as a
brings.
scapegoat.
I hope he admits that to Aquaman. I hope he does. I don't think he will,
yeah, I don't think he will. But,
but
it might
it'd be nice.
give him a scapegoat to continue his crusade against the surface world.
I don't know that he's going to be that strongly going after. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like I said, that's a possibility, or maybe they'll do like the Drowned Earth event that just ended in DC.
I don't really care what that is right now.
I explained it to you. The space
I'm interested
The spacey
in
gods.
what do we know what the next DC movie is going to be yet?
I believe the next Shazam.
That's DC.
That's DC.
Okay, do we know what the next good DC movie is going to be?
After that, I believe it's Wonder Woman 1984. The Wonder Woman sequel.
All right, Wonder Woman. So, how long do you think until we get another Justice League? And what are they going? Are they actually going to continue Justice League if they're, if what you read, I think, was true about them ditching the Flash
There's no
isn't
more
the answer here. Fixing the Flash
The
would
thing
be
of
the
it
answer
is
here.
there's not they've removed the standalone Flash movie and standalone Superman movies, so they may just have them pop up in other people's movies.
I could see that. Honestly, I could see them doing that with Superman.
Like the Batman movie that's still being made
because it's just how hard they were sucking his dick in Justice League.
is going to be a
Fucking terrible.
from the way it sounds, it's going to try to going to try to show the hardcore detective part of Bats. So maybe
That'd be
something
cool.
along the lines of The Long Halloween or something like that.
That'd be cool. Also, that Joker movie's coming,
Oh yeah, the Joaquin
but I don't
Phoenix
think that's
one.
actually going to tie into any of this other stuff.
I don't know.
I don't. Yeah, I know. We already had a World War I movie that did. So
Yeah, and the joke.
And this is looking like
was like
60s,
70s.
by the suit, I would say 70s, but it could be late 60s.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely.
And honestly, like, way more interested in seeing Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker than I expected to be after seeing that teaser.
yeah,
I was like, all right, well, let's do it then.
yeah. That's kind of like when I first was like, they're like Ben Affleck's gonna be Batman. I'm like,
Yeah, but then seeing him as
And then I
Batman,
saw
and it
him
was like,
yes.
this is better than him as Daredevil, which was the second best Daredevil we've had.
We've only had 2.
Shut up.
Look,
Anyway,
yeah.
that's pretty much our assessment of Bumblebutt and Aqua Dude.
Yeah, they're both worth seeing.
I wouldn't necessarily say go see Bumblebee in the theater, but I would say watch it.
Yeah, it's worth
Aquaman,
seeing.
watch in the theater. Watch Aquaman in the theater. It's good.
Well, I suppose that's the end of the episode.
Please like, comment, follow, and share. And also, more importantly, thank you for listening.
Take care. Bye.